Hey guys, real quick follow-up video. Things I'm going to be watching on Monday to see if this market is going to hold here and go sideways or whether we get a little bit more vulnerable again. We're going to keep an open mind, like I said. But two of the things I'll be watching, probably the financials. Obviously, they haven't led the market, but they're definitely a red flag and kind of indicative of the negativity we're looking at in the economy. So I want to kind of gauge that sentiment moving forward too, because I think at some time they will matter. And it kind of gives an idea of what's pushing the market. Is it true economic progress, or is it, is it liquidity? Is it day traders? Is it short covering? Is it all the above? So when we look at something like JP Morgan, I just ran a Fibonacci from the low, not to the very bottom penny, and then to the high, more some common touches in after hours and the intraday high. I didn't want to go to the very high in after hours, but just a 2-day chart to kind of figure out what's the sentiment when we look at something like JP Morgan. And JP Morgan right now is literally within those 2 days is, let me load this really quick, hang on a second, is right up at the 61.8 retracement bounce. So what I don't want to see is it start to trail and gradually go below the 50%, which kind of tells me the bears are winning out on the financials, and that just kind of market sentiment might sour here. A lot of guys probably won't be looking at this. They'll just be looking at, their Teslas and Amazons and Microsofts and Apples and all those good things, plus the flavor of the day, theme stock, all those different things. But I'm going to be behind the scenes kind of watching this on my side screen to kind of see, okay, are we looking vulnerable here, especially if we're pushing to highs? I might want to take a short position. I want to see if this starts to break below 85, which means it lost half of its move from low to high on the Thursday, Friday pop, and then kind of retracement with inside candle. So not exactly to the bottom, not exactly to the top, common touches, just kind of an area. It actually lines up with that first pullback before it rocketed higher. So start going below 85 on JP Morgan, and I'm just using JP Morgan as an example. You could probably use the XLF, but I think they're the echelon. Them and Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan are the big dogs. So I want to see if that starts to go below 85. And then obviously we're going to be looking at the VIX, trying to figure out that move. Was it a head fake, or are we looking at something more ominous here, and our guys buying protection here, and that's all it is, and it's going to start to come unwound, because it did break my descending pivot line that I used. It's touched it there, it's touched it, it opened above it and failed, and then back tested it, and that could even be off a hair, but you get the idea. I want to see if that move, and we can do a Fibonacci on that as well. That's actually pretty fairly accurate there. I want to see if this actually starts to break below the low of Friday if the market goes higher. And if the market goes lower, is it just a little bit lower, or is it now starting to get back above that Fibonacci channel on the VIX at like 3370? So those are a couple things I'm going to keep an eye on. You can get a little close up there, kind of stretch that out. Are we going to back test this line here with market strength, or does it kind of hang out above the low of this candle where this all kind of back tested and started? We want to see you want to see that start to break below that 3080 area, or the low of 3077 with a sideways market. If this starts to creep back up and then get inside these two Fibonacci numbers, and the market's going up at the same time, it's a bit of a red flag. So two things I'm watching: JP Morgan, and I'm definitely going to be watching the VIX to see how it's trading in relationship to the market, to kind of give me a heads up. Wow, we could have a reversal late in the day, even though the market's up, and they could just give it up. So those are two things I'll be looking at coming on Monday.